everybody. I'm so glad to be here with you to do yoga. Boy, this circumstance that we're all in really helps us not take things for granted. I am not taking my yoga for granted, and teaching and doing it myself, going to classes. It's just so important to my life, and I know that to my students it's so important for y'all too. So I'm glad to be here with you. I'm in my beautiful backyard, my place of respite, my safe place, and it's a gorgeous day, and we're going to do a full-on yoga class, but a chilled one to help with our root chakra. So all of our foundations have been shaken. And so we're just going to do some yoga to help with that, and to chill out, and to calm down, and to remember that all is well and everything's okay. All right, so if you'll sit in a comfortable seated position, you can always sit up on height. That's helpful. We want, when we cross our shins, we want our knees to be pretty much parallel to the floor, or even with our hips. So we sit up on enough height so that we can make that more happen. You can also put blocks under your knees, and that will help with any clenching in the crease of the hip, okay? You can always sit up against a wall. You can always sit in a chair instead, no big deal. All right, you just want your spine to be up nice and tall, right above your pelvis. Rest your hands on your legs, and let's turn your palms to face up, and bring your index finger and thumb to touch to create a small circle. The rest of the fingers are long. Elbows are close into the body, and let's drop the shoulders, drop the elbows. And let's just gather ourselves for a moment. So let's start some clearing breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale, blow out your mouth. Inhale through the nose, exhale, blowing out the mouth. So I'll call these clearing breaths. We're clearing your body of stress, of worries, of fears. It may feel good to close your eyes, or just look down to the floor in front of you without bowing your head. Start to slow the breath down a little bit more. Starting to get grounded, so letting your sits bones settle into the ground underneath you. Let your legs get heavier. Slow down the breath a bit more. Align your spine a little better, a little taller. Drop the shoulders again. Let the elbows soften. We're not squeezing the armpits. Let your hands relax more. Start to soften your scalp and your forehead. Ease your jaw. We take as many of these clearing breaths as you need for right now to really release the pressure, release the tension, release the stress. Slow it down. We're downshifting right now, getting more grounded, feeling gravity pulling on you. Surrender into gravity. We let our spine float up a little taller. Everything outside of the spine is falling. Now breathing in and out through the nose if possible, slowing the breath even more. And when you take the inhales, you're expanding your rib cage in all directions, breathing deeper into the lower ribs. So we're evening out the breath, breathing just as much into the right lung as the left and vice versa. So more awareness into the inhale to start filling up the body with fresh new life force and new possibilities, new opportunities. So we did those clearing breaths to clear our body and to make space on the inside. Now we're filling up that space where the stress was with light and life force and energy. So we're starting to build energy now. Again, let the hips settle. Spine lifts up a little taller. Drop the shoulders, drop the elbows. Soften the teeth and the tongue. As you inhale, now let's imagine that you're gathering your light inward to your center. And the exhale, as you ground yourself, pour your light down into the earth. Inhale, you gather your light inward to your center line. The exhale, you pour your light down into the ground. This is a really good exercise when we're feeling frazzled or worried. We have our energetic tentacles out in the world, feeling around in other people's business, worrying about other people or about circumstances outside of you. And so we're just drawing those tentacles back in, consolidating your energy inward. The exhale, you're anchoring yourself to Mother Earth. Imagine the light that you've gathered to your spine. We imagine a cylinder of light that drills down into the earth. The inhale, you gather yourself. The exhale, you ground yourself. You're reminding yourself that everything's okay and all is well. Everything's okay and all is well. Your true self, your higher self, is reminding you that everything's okay and all is well. No matter what's going on outside of you, your truth on the inside, down beneath it all, is everything's okay and all is well. Your spirit knows that always. And as we return to our center and as we get grounded, then that truth can rise to the surface again. And we can remember that everything's okay and all is well. It feels so good to be reminded of that. To soothe and calm your senses. And let our nervous system return to a state of balance. And we're giving great thanks as we start to wiggle fingers and toes. And take your time to switch your legs, so other foot in front. Get comfortable again. If you need to shake your legs out in between, it's okay. So once you're comfortable again, start to roll your shoulders backward. And return to the breath, a steady, long breath. So let's slow the shoulders down and make bigger circles. So be more deliberate with your movement. And now one shoulder at a time rolls back so that we're moving our rib cage. Okay, relaxing that. Inhale, spine up tall. Exhale, chin drops to your chest. Do your best to sit up tall. Try not to slouch, just let the head fall forward. And gently start to sway your head side to side here. Keeping the chin down. Keeping the shoulders down. So you can move as slowly as needed. Chin is reaching gently a little closer to each shoulder. We'll continue to move in the semicircle. Let's now drop the ears to the shoulders. Chin still rolls to the chest, then ear to shoulder. Chin rolls to the chest and other ear to other shoulder. Getting the stretch more into the back of the neck and the sides of the neck. When you bring your ear to your shoulder, you can even pull your head back another inch or two to bring the stretch closer to the front of the neck. And next time your chin comes to your chest, you'll stay there. Next inhale, bring your head up. Really good breath. And lean back into your hands. You can always put your hands on blocks if you need to. And lift your chest up to the sky. Shoulders pull back from the ears. Opening the collarbones, spreading them wider on your chest. Lift your breastbone up. You can either drop your chin closer to your chest, or you can lift your chin up toward the sky, or anywhere in between, whatever's comfortable for your neck. Let's just open the chest right now. We're also creating lift in the belly. Make more space in the diaphragm. Deep breaths into your front ribs. Hands are straight down from the shoulders, fingertips pointing outward if you can. You can always have your hands on your fists. You can bring your fists to the ground instead if your wrists are bothering you. Let's do another big breath. And drop the heart and sitting up. Another few shoulder rolls. And let's straighten the legs out and rock them out well. So loosey-goosey legs here. Shake the joints out. Good clearing breaths. Inhale through the nose, exhale blowing out the mouth. Circle the ankles out really well. Circle the other way. Okay, so slow down your circles here and involve the toes more. So when you lift the toes, spread them. And when you point the toes, curl the soles of the feet down. Curl the toes down. Engaging the legs more. Now circle the other way again, but slow it down again. Involve the toes more. When you lift them, spread them. When you point them, curl them down. engaging the soles of the feet and the full legs. Okay, let's make your way to tabletop on your hands and knees. If you need blocks near the front of your mat, you'll move them there in case you need them in a moment. So come to tabletop, hands straight down from your shoulders, knees straight down from your hips. We'll start some cat and cow. So the inhales, your head and hips lift. Your exhales, your head and hips drop. Inhale, lengthen the belly. Exhale, lengthen the back. Strong breath through your nose if you can. So when you lift your head, pull your shoulders back to open up your front heart. When you drop your head, push your shoulders down towards your hands to open up your back heart. Inhale, head up. Exhale, head down. Just keep moving with your breath. So we're boosting our immune system by mobilizing the spine. So the movement brings lubrication to the joints of the spine and gets the fluids moving well. We're getting energy stimulation to all of the major chakras along the spine. So cat and cow is a really good immune booster. Super important right now, as always. And always. It's always important, but that's what's in our thoughts right now, is to stay healthy. Okay, so neutral spine. Take a big breath. So turn the index fingers to face forward. Spread the fingers wide so there's lots of space between each fingertip. Shoulders pull back. Dig the pads of the toes into the ground. Firm your belly to flatten the back. Now let's push into down dog. So lift the knees up and pop your hips back. And let's walk your dog out. So bend one knee as you straighten the other. Lift one heel as the other one pushes down. So our hands are pushing forward. Hips are pushing back. Head is between your arms. Good breaths. So open up the backs of the legs. Push the right heel down hard, right leg straight, left leg soft, and stretch the back of your right leg. Center your chest. Push your chest back towards your legs a little bit more. Another breath. Switch legs. Left heel pushes down, left leg straight, right leg bent. Center your chest. Push your chest back towards your legs. Widen your shoulder blades, so try not to collapse your spine between your shoulders. Take a good breath in, good breath out, and both knees to the ground. Drop to your elbows. Do a full body wag, so head, shoulders, feet, and hips wag side to side. Loosen things up. You can circle your wrists out too if you want. Okay, so we're taking our right, so tabletop, pull the shoulders back. We're going into down dog one more time here. Push back, push back. So let's step your feet back another 2 inches from where you were before to get a little bit longer stance. So your heels pressing down toward the floor as best you can. If you need to keep your knees bent, that's okay. It's most important to keep your upper body straight, spine straight. So then you can straighten your legs as much as you're able to. Push your chest back, widen your shoulder blades. Index fingers are grounding well. Take another big breath. Bend your knees and walk forward towards your hands as best you can. Bend your knees as much as you need to. And we're dropping our butt, lifting our head, so think of a low chair pose. Okay, you can always have your hands on blocks here. So push down hard with your legs. Tailbone tucks, belly lifts, spine is long. Good breath. So hard legs, so strong legs. Push your feet into the ground. Good breath. So we're warming up, building heat in the legs and the core. So try not to sway your back here. Tailbone tucks, belly lifts. We don't really have weight in the hands. We're just touching something to keep low. Take another breath. Let's make sure you're at the front of your mat. And we're taking our right foot and stepping it way back long into a long lunge. Slide your foot as far back as it can, and then drop your back knee to the floor. So we want to keep our front knee on top of our ankle. You can always put blocks here under your hands if you need a little more space between your torso and your leg. Let your hips drop forward. So we're opening up the front of this right hip, the hip flexor. Solid, long breaths. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Just let gravity pull on your hips right now. That's the focus for right now. Okay, let's rock the hips back and straighten your front leg. Now you may need to grab your blocks and bring them under your hands so you can lift your spine enough that you can straighten your spine and straighten that front leg. So it doesn't matter how deep your fold is right now, just get a long spine and a straight leg. Deep breaths here, opening the back of the leg. Inhale, spine gets a little longer. Exhale, front leg gets a little straighter, maybe flexing your foot a little deeper if you can. Then if you need more, you can always move your heart forward to deepen your fold. Let's keep the back of the neck long. Drop the left hip down to lengthen that left waistline. Long breaths. You just make subtle extensions with every breath to create a deeper stretch for you. Now, if you're stressed out in your head, if you're cursing my name, then that means that's too much. Back off a little bit. Take a good breath in. Good breath out. Now we're rocking forward back into our lunge again. We're going high with the spine. So hands to your front thigh. Or you can take your hands to tall blocks. We want our hips to rock forward again, knee on top of your ankle, and then lift the spine, lift your heart, get proud, drop your shoulders. Now do what's comfortable in your back foot, and let's engage the legs more. So legs push down into the ground, and do what I call as a scissor squeeze. So our front leg drags back, our back leg drags forward. So it's kind of like doing this thing with your legs. So we're opening up the front of the right side of the body from your knee all the way up to your throat. Front body opener, really important if you sit a lot to keep your hip flexors open for your low back health. Take another breath. Let's slowly drop down, hands to the inside of your foot. Go ahead and straighten your back leg again. And we're stepping our left foot back to meet your right, so into plank pose. Now if plank pose is too strong for you, you can drop your knees to the ground, do a half plank. Okay, so do your best. So either way, hips are straight. Tailbone tucks, belly lifts. Think of lifting your low back up and dropping your hips down. Shoulders pull back from the ears. Float your heart forward. Claw the floor with the pads of the fingers. You can always be up on your fist here if you need to straighten your wrists. Another place to build heat. If your legs are straight, power them up. Good breath in. Good breath out. And knees drop to the floor. So elbows glide along your sides. Lower your belly all the way to the ground. And let's take a sacred roll. So left arm forward. Right knee bends to the side. Pull your right shoulder back into a twist. So we can always put a block or a blanket under the head so that it can fall behind the arm and turn your face upward. You can always put a block or blanket underneath your right knee here, especially if it pops up off the floor. Our right hand just settles onto your body at first, and take deep, expansive breaths into the ribs, letting your right shoulder and elbow fall back behind you. Try to soften your body except for the breath. The breath is working strong and vibrant right now. Everything else is relaxing. Let's do another breath. And slowly return the belly back to the floor. You can either stack your hands under your head here, under your chin or your forehead, or you can take full frustration pose with forehead to the ground, arms extended. So deep breaths here with a neutral spine. Soften your butt, soften your shoulders. Another breath. Let's take a sacred roll, going the other way. So right arm forward, left knee bends to the side, pull your left shoulder back. If you need some support under your head, you use a block or a blanket. Or if you need support under the left knee, you use that. So left hand on your waist or your hip. Let your left shoulder fall back behind you as well as your elbow. And deep, expansive breaths now. Softening into the twist. Good breath in, good breath out. And back to center. Either stack your hands under your head or full frustration pose. Deep breaths. Remembering that everything's okay and all is well. All right, so let's bring your hands under your shoulder, beside your breasts actually, a little below your shoulders, elbows squeeze into your sides, dig the pads of your toes into the ground, and push the knees into the floor. First, we'll just barely lift the hips up off the ground, tucking your tailbone, firming your belly. We want to try to keep our spine and our hips flat and straight. Push up to half plank again. So using the strength there, and then pop your hips up and back into down dog. Push back, push back. Good breaths. Wide shoulders. Outer armpits are rolling toward the floor. Inner armpits are lifting up toward the sky. Push your heels toward the ground. Big breath. Bend your knees and walk forward towards your hands again. Go all the way to the front of your mat. Do a ragdoll fold. So let your spine hang down. You can let your arms dangle. You can grab your elbows. If your low back is not happy here, you can grab your blocks and put your hands on your blocks. Good breaths. Just let your spine hang. This is not a hamstring stretch so much. That's not the intention. We're letting the spine stretch right now. Good breath in. Good breath out. You can even let the spine sway side to side to allow a deeper opening in the low back. Back to center. Grab the floor with the fingertips. Dropping the butt, lifting the head. Push down hard with both legs. Firm your belly and tuck your tailbone. So a low chair pose. Activating the legs again. Solid breaths. And we're taking the lunge on the other side. So left leg steps way back. Drop your back knee to the ground. Low lunge. Remember, you can always put your hands on blocks here. It gives that, unlocks your neck here if you feel strain in your neck. It also gives you more space to breathe in your belly. You can always choose to take a low lunge with your foot wider, your front foot wider, and your hands on the inside of your foot. This is always an option too. So hips drop forward and heavy. Front of the left hip is opening. Solid breaths. We're loving on this left hip, breathing into it, letting it go. Your higher self is telling this left hip, everything's okay and all is well. Try to soften your jaw and your ears. Okay, we're rocking back to our forward fold. So remember, you can use your blocks under your hands to lift your spine as much as you need to straighten it out. And then front leg straightens as best you can too. Inhale, spine lengthens. Exhale, straighten your front leg actively. Inhale, spine lengthens. Exhale, straighten your front leg actively. You can even start to flex your foot, pulling the top of your foot towards your head to deepen the pose too. Inhale, lengthening your spine. Exhale, straightening your leg or even moving your heart forward towards your toes, relaxing your shoulders. Drop that right hip down away from your shoulder to allow your right waist to open. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay, so let's rock forward to the lunge again. We're going high with the spine now, so hands to your front thigh or onto tall blocks. So do whatever's comfortable with your back foot and engage your legs, push down against the floor and then scissor squeeze. Front leg drags back leg drags forward, and lift the heart. Shoulders drop. Keep that front leg strong. Always breathing, no matter what we're doing, you're always returning to the slow, long breath. No matter what you've been going through, we're clearing away the stress, making space so we can see the gifts in our life, to see the good in our life. All that we take for granted so much of the time, we're giving so much thanks for just getting to do yoga, getting to breathe together. We're here together. Even though there's space between us, we're here doing this together. I'm so glad to be here with you. Take another breath. Okay, so hands drop to the floor. We're taking that front foot wide, hands on the inside of your foot. We're digging the back toes into the ground, straightening your back leg. Then we step our right foot back to meet our left into plank pose again. So either straight legs strong or bent knees. Either way, hips are straight and flat, spine is flat, shoulders back from the ears. Spread your front heart. Deep breaths. Tailbone down, low back lifts. If your legs are straight, power up your legs even more. Try to lift your kneecaps up towards your hips. Soften your face. Another breath. Knees drop to the ground. Keep your elbows close to your side as you lower down to the floor. Let's take another sacred roll. So left arm forward, right knee bends. Pull your right shoulder back. Remember, you can support your head, support your bent knee if you need to. Here, this right arm, we can either rest it on our body or we can let that arm drop wide out to the side behind us. Palm face up if you can. You can always put support under that right arm. We want a passive pose and a deep breath. Try to melt your body, unclench your butt, unclench your belly, unclench your low back and your shoulders. Fall into the ground. So glad to be here. So grateful for this breath. So grateful for this body. Melt a little more. Soften your teeth. Take a big breath in, melting as much as you can. We'll slowly return the belly back to the floor. Either stack your hands under your head or full frustration pose. Spine is centered, everything relaxes. Shoulders relax, glutes relax. Other side. Right arm extends, left knee bends. Pull your left shoulder back. Add support under your head if needed, under your left knee if needed. Left hand can either rest on your body or you can let that arm drop out wide behind you, palm faces up. You can always put support under that left arm. We want a passive body and long, solid breaths. So every breath is another opportunity to let go, to surrender. This breath, this body, this is where you can make change in the world. You can change your world by addressing your breath, addressing your body. We're choosing to let go of that which doesn't serve us. We're choosing to receive in what is beneficial for us. Let your body get twice as heavy, twice as soft. And we'll slowly return our belly back to the floor. Either full frustration or stack your hands under your head. And then we'll bring your hands beside your breasts, elbows close into the body, dig the pads of the toes into the ground, push your knees into the ground. You just barely pop your hips up off the floor and tuck your tailbone to lengthen your low back, firm your belly. And on your inhale, try to keep your hips flat, push up to half plank again, and then pop your hips up and back into down dog, push back, push back. Take a little longer stance. Maybe your feet move back another 2 inches. Widen those shoulders and push back a little more. Let's drop the knees to the ground. And let's turn sideways on your mat. So we'll come to the right side of your mat, and we'll step our left foot wide, so that your knee and your foot can be on your mat. Your hands might be in front of your mat. And let's take them, instead of straight down from the shoulders, we take a hand's length step further in front. We want this bottom knee here to be straight down from the hip. Now we'll start to move with our breath. So our inhale, we rock back with our hips. The exhale, we rock forward. The inhale, we rock back. The exhale, we rock forward. Inhale back, exhale forward. So this movement can be small, or it can be really big and dynamic, so it's up to you. You can go all the way back as if you were going like into a child's pose, or all the way forward like a half plank. Inhale forward, exhale back. Inhale back, exhale forward. That's it. Inhale back, exhale forward. So we're really opening up the inside of this left leg. Okay, let's come to neutral spine. Keep your legs where they are. Get your hands right under your shoulders. You can always put blocks under your hands. And rock your hips straight to the right. So we're opening up this inner thigh even more specifically. Solid breaths. We're opening up our root so that we can feel Mother Earth supporting us underneath right now in these times of uncertainty. We can find our ground. We can find our foundation. Now try bringing the heel to the ground, toes lift, flexing your foot on your left foot, and then rock your hips straight to the right. Deepen that stretch on the inside of the leg, more to the back of the leg now. Jaw is soft, face relaxes. So you can always change the angle of your foot anywhere in between. Find your best stretch for that left leg. One more breath. And we'll bend that left knee, both knees back to the ground. Drop to your elbows. Full body wag. So head, shoulders, feet, and hips wag side to side. Loosen things up. Maybe shake your legs out one at a time behind you. All right, and scooch on over to the other side of your mat. And we're taking our right leg wide, hands under the shoulders, and then step your hands one hand length forward to make a little longer stance. Then inhale, rock back. Exhale, rock forward. Inhale, rock back. Exhale, rock forward. So we're sifting through this inner leg here, opening things up. We're also creating a strength element in this bottom leg and in your arms and core. Inhale back, exhale forward. You can have this movement really small. You can go as big as you want to, all the way back to your back heel, all the way forward to shoulders over your fingertips. Creating warmth and movement, lubricating the joints, boosting our immune system. Let's bring it back to neutral spine, hands right under your shoulders. Shift your hips straight to the left. You're still standing on the floor, flat with your right foot if possible. If your ankle is okay with that. Then shifting to heel down, toes lift, flexing your foot. Shift your hips to the left again. Lower belly is gently firmed inward. Shoulders down. Take it out of your face. So soften things up. And just bring in more awareness to what you're doing in your head. When we're doing all these interesting shapes with the rest of our body, we have a tendency to just start locking things down again in our head. So we want to bring awareness to that, developing more body awareness. Okay, so bend your right knee, both knees to the ground. Drop to your elbows and knees, full body wag. Maybe shake your legs out again. All right, so let's come to tabletop. Let's bring your bring a block under your nose, along your center line here. Let's take your left hand on your block. Bring your right arm forward and up with your inhale, back and down with your exhale. Inhale forward and up, exhale back and down. So full big circle. We're letting our ribs turn as we move our arm. We're letting our head turn with our ribs as your body allows. Now when we lift our arm, push down firmly with the bottom arm so that we're using both sides of your back muscles to create that movement. Really opening up the shoulder girdle well. Let's do one more. And then both elbows down to the ground. On each side of your blocks, take a few breaths. And then right hand onto your blocks, straight arm. Inhale, left arm forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Inhale, forward and up. Exhale, back and down. Let your ribs turn and your head turn comfortably. When you're lifting one arm, that arm you push down with the bottom arm. So we're using both sides of your back, affecting our whole shoulder girdle and everything that supports that. Getting some rotation in the spine, in the ribs, the head. Again, creating space, creating lubrication, getting everything working more efficiently. Do one more. Then elbows to the ground, neutral spine. Good breaths. So notice how you feel a fuller breath into the rib cage now, possibly. All right, so let's grab your blankets. You can have them folded up so where they're in what I call a put-away fold. And let's have your blankets under the left hip. We're going into deer pose. Oh, excuse me. So under your left hip, we'll pinwheel our legs. So the left thigh points straight forward, 90-degree bend in that knee. Right thigh points straight to the right side, 90-degree bend in that knee. So that also creates a 90-degree bend in the groin. So we scooch back on our blankets so that all of your thigh is supported by your blankets. Knee joint hangs off of the front edge. So that when we fold forward, the thigh will stay parallel to the floor, not tipping forward. So I call these kickstand arms. So the hands go a little wider than the shoulders, fingertips point outward. So we can widen our front heart, spreading our collarbones and dropping our shoulders. So we're leaning forward in the same direction as our left thigh. And we're breathing. Spine is nice and long, including the neck. So we're starting a stretch in the left glute and outer thigh, maybe in the low back a bit too. If and when this feels like it starts to open, you can land your elbows onto floor or up onto blocks here. Okay, that's always an option. Either way, gently turn the navel to the left. Move your spine forward, creating more length, and shoulders drop down from the ears. So just deepening that stretch in your left glute and outer thigh. If and when this frees up, you can lay down on your knee, so breastbone on your knee, and let your forehead be supported by something. So that may be a block. That may be 2 blocks. It doesn't matter. Just want to find a more restful position to allow your left hip to open. Try to soften your right leg, the one that's not on the blankets. And breathe. Let your shoulders relax more. Try to soften around your hips more. Taking a good breath in and a great breath out. We're pushing the hands into the floor to raise the spine all the way up into sitting. We're going to take a twist before we come out of this place. So right hand grabs your front knee. So we're crossing the body here. Left hand slides back behind you onto floor or onto a block. If you're sitting up on height, a block is helpful there. We'll drop the right hip down. We want our pelvis to be pretty even. Spine lifts tall, shoulders down, start to turn to the left. And deep breaths. Now this is going to get deep really quickly along the lower part of the spine here. So if that's too much, you can slide your back knee forward, like to try to touch your heel, your front heel there. That'll take the edge off a bit. Either way, spine lifts with the inhale. Drop that right hip down, shoulders down, maybe deepen your pose with your exhale. Deepen your twist. Now hold the twist you've got and take 3 super deep breaths into the ribs. And slowly unturn. Take a big breath to a neutral spine. Drop the shoulders. Just being present for a moment, feeling what you feel without judgment. And let's take your time to switch sides. So blankets would go under right hip and thigh. You don't have to use blankets, but it's a kind way to start, especially if you're stiff. Okay, so pinwheeling the legs. Right thigh moves straight forward, 90 degrees in the knee. Left thigh straight to the side wall, 90 degrees in that knee. And we'll do kickstand arms. So hands a little wider than the shoulders, fingertips outward. Think of widening your collarbones, dropping your shoulders. So the breastbone is moving in the same direction as your right thigh. Opening up the right glute and the outer thigh. Now if that starts to open, you can always drop down to elbows, to floor, or onto blocks. Gently turn your navel to the right and then move your spine forward more. That just helps to straighten the spine out a little better. Let your neck be neutral, jaw is soft. So glad to be here. So grateful for this breath. If that starts to free up, you can lay down on your knee, forehead supported by something. Relax your shoulders. Let your left leg relax, the one not on the blanket. Take another big breath. Soften even more. And let's push the hands into the floor to raise the spine all the way up into sitting. And soften the shoulders down. Good breath. And we'll take a twist. So left hand grabs your front knee. Right hand slides back behind you onto floor or block. Lift the spine with the inhale. Drop that left hip down and shoulders down. With your exhale, you turn to the right. Inhale, spine gets longer. Exhale, left hip drops, shoulders drop. Turn a little deeper to the right. Jaw is soft. Let's take 3 exaggerated breaths into the rib cage. Remember, you can move that back knee forward more if you need to. And slowly unturning. Good breath in. Good breath out. Take a moment to listen and feel inward. And let's come off your blankets. Legs go long out in front. Rock your legs out all the way from the hips. Okay, so legs going wide. Take the widest stance you can. Now if you find that your low back is bothered here in this place, if it's hard to sit upright, if your pelvis is rocking back, then sitting on the front edge of a blanket or even 2 blankets is really helpful that way. So that helps your pelvis tilt forward and gives your low back more space. Okay, so we can, if you're super tight, you can always put like a block right under your lower thigh here. That's helpful too, or blankets or pillows. So do what feels good for you. We want our spine to be nice and long. We want to flex our feet gently and push the backs of the knees toward the ground. So really root into the ground. We only want to work with about 30 to 50% effort here. So don't stress out in your legs, just kindly ground them. Hands to floor or blocks in front of you so you can lean into your hands. We'll inhale, spine gets longer. Exhale, ground your legs. We'll start to move your heart forward any amount. Do your best not to curve your spine. Don't collapse your front body. Keep your front belly long, your front heart wide. You're hinging forward from the crease of the hips. You're breathing. You can have blocks here in front, under your hands, under your elbows, whatever height is good for you. Inhale, your spine gets longer. Exhale, you ground your legs kindly. Maybe flex your feet, moving the heart forward a little more if you can. Keep the neck neutral. Keep the jaw soft. Remember 30 to 50% effort in your legs. Inhale, spine lengthens so slightly. Exhale, legs anchored gently. Maybe move the heart forward a little more. You're just with your body, creating good alignment, so longer spine, straighter legs, and then a deeper fold as your body allows. Be kind about this. Good breath. Really anchoring our root into Mother Earth. Inhale, longer spine. Exhale, ground the legs. Maybe a deeper fold. Okay, another breath. Hands push into the floor and raise the spine up into sitting. Relax everything. Good breaths. Let your body, your legs soften, your shoulders soften, your mouth softens. Just listen for a moment inwardly. Okay, we'll grab our knees with each hand. Bend one knee at a time. Soles of the feet come together. Just pull your heels in comfortably close to your groin and bounce your knees. So either hold onto your ankles or under the toes. Soft shoulders. Clearing breath. So inhale through the nose. Exhale, blow out your mouth. Let's grab the knees with the hands, straighten the legs out one at a time, lean back here, rock the legs out, clearing breaths. We did it, we did it. Oh, it's so good to do yoga with you. I missed it so much, even if it was just 2 days without it with you. All right, so you can either lay flat on your back into full corpse pose or shavasana, or you can take your blankets. So we have them in an 1/8 fold here like this. Stack them both up like that. So we'll match up a short end. Let's match up those edges there. Let's put that in the middle of your mat. And we sit on the front edge here of your blankets. And let your blankets, the edge of your blanket hit you about bra line or bottom tips of the shoulder blades. So this is a slight back bend here. Arms will go wide, so shoulder blades are on the floor, not the blankets. Arms are heavy. So you can just have your legs long here, allowing a front body opener from the knees all the way up to the shoulders or the throat. You can always take reclined cobbler's position here. But that might be a little intense since we've got the blankets under us there. So it's up to you. If you do take reclined cobbler's position, putting blocks under outer thighs or outer hips is comfortable, or is maybe more comfortable. So make your choice there, and then let's fall into the ground. Let Mother Earth hold you as we dive into the breath, a soft, long breath. It's not a working breath, it's a restful breath. Unclench your butt, unclench your inner thighs, let your low back sink, belly softening. Really good breath. Let it out. Let your shoulders get heavier, as well as your arms and hands. Soften your throat and your neck. And allow your jaw to release, tongue softens. Allow the full weight of the head to drop into the floor. Letting your eyes sink into your head a little deeper. Allowing your ears to fall back. Smooth your forehead and your scalp. So glad to be here. So grateful for this breath. So grateful for this body. So grateful for your health and well-being that you enjoy. So grateful for all the abundance you enjoy. All the resources available to you. Either just let yourself rest so deeply here, or you can even let your mind sift through all that you're grateful for. Letting your body get twice as heavy, twice as soft. Everything's okay and all is well. All is well. All is well. All is well. All is well within me. All is well. All is well. All is well. All is well within me. All is well. All is well. All is well. All is well If you'll allow your breath to deepen, and wiggle your fingers and toes, and stretch or move in any way that would feel really good for you. And rolling to one side, coming off your blankets. Please support your head with something. So a nice long spine, including the neck. Good breaths. Feeling the space that you created inside. And then top hand pushes into the ground in front of you to push up into sitting. You can always sit up on your blankets if you need to. Once you're comfortable, gather your palms together at your heart. So this literally gathers our energy to our center line, just like we did in the beginning of class. And we're touching our thumbs to our breastbone. Shoulders down, elbows down. And again, inhale to your center line. Exhale, pour your light down into the earth, getting rooted into Mother Earth. Inhale, gather your light. Exhale, anchor your light. So I acknowledge you for showing up, taking care of yourself in this time together. And now you can face the world with a little more rootedness, a little more groundedness, a little more solidity inside of you so that you can face whatever you're facing in the future. So I love you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I'm so honored and grateful. Namaste.